Okay, hey guys. Um, so I've restarted this video 4 or 5 times so far, thinking that I wasn't getting it right or I wasn't saying the right thing. And you know what? Now I'm just gonna roll with it. That means it's gonna be stutter, stop, stumble, stumble, stumble. But at least you'll get a real live reaction. Now, disclaimer first, I am not a teacher, nor am I a professional painter. I am somebody who picked up a brush one day and said, "Ooh, look, paint!" And I wonder if I can make that to go on my wall because it's pretty. So, if you're looking for a professional or for a teacher in painting, you might want to look elsewhere. But I hope you guys do enjoy this. I am going to be showing you how I do a painting from the beginning to the end and my entire process through. Bear with me. It does tend to take more than a day, depending on the size of the painting or how detailed I get into it. So just stick with me, alright? This is going to be fun, I promise. Well, I don't promise. It's going to be fun. Alright, so first of all, you have to get your image onto the canvas. Now you can do this 3 different ways. You can either freehand draw your image, which I am extremely not good at. So I applaud anybody who is able to do that. You guys are amazing. I'm not good at drawing. I'm just not. It's not happening. But you can do that. Or you can make a grid. What you're going to do is you're going to take a ruler and you're going to section your canvas off into like 1-inch squares. And then you're going to take your original picture, and this is my original picture of Rasputin when he was all adorable and fluffy in Alaska, and you're going to section it off as well. Now you can then do a little math and transfer your image to a larger canvas, or you can transfer it directly using just a pencil, and you're going to go just by square and just draw your image in. Or, and this is what I generally do because I like to get the image exactly from the picture to the canvas, you can use a projector. I've been using the projector at school. I'm currently saving up so I can buy my own. It's probably going to be a couple years before I can buy my own, but I do want to eventually, so that I can have something that at home where I can make my images directly onto my canvas. But those are the 3 ways that you can transfer it. I know a lot of people say that it's cheating to use a projector. I disagree. It's kind of up to you, whatever your opinion may be. So that's how you're going to get your image onto your canvas. And all canvases start out white. Well, that's not true. There are some black ones, but generally you want to start with a white one. Black is very hard to cover up unless you're just using white. Alright, so next thing, we're going to choose our palette. Now, if you look at the original image that I'm using of Rasputin, and he's sitting right over there. Isn't he cute? I keep saying his name and he keeps thinking I'm calling him. I'm not. I love you, baby, but I'm not calling you. I love you. Anyway, so Razzie has a lot of black around his muzzle and in his eyebrows and his eyes. And he's got a lot of white, and the white has become, as you can see, it's become more pronounced since he's gotten older. And when he's fluffy, he has a great deal of red in his fur, as well as this sort of darker brown, and then he has this lighter color in his face. So we're going to choose a palette. Now, choosing a palette, basically, when I first heard that phrase, I thought it meant pick which palette you're going to use. I really did. My teacher said, choose a palette, and I'm like, I choose this one. Because I was being a dunderhead. I didn't realize what she meant. What she meant was, when they say a palette, what they actually mean is you're going to choose the colors and the hues that you're using in order to paint your picture. Seems obvious now. At the time, it was like, what? Anyways, so, going with what we know from the picture, which you can see, isn't he adorable? God, I love him so much, my little heart. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use a cadmium red. I love cadmium red, and I love golden. Golden is my go-to paint, and cadmium red is my go-to red. Just because I honestly don't know. I just like it. Going with that. I don't have to justify myself to you. Anyways. Just kidding, guys. And then I'm going to use titanium white for his white spaces. I could use the unbleached white that I have, but that comes out as more of a skin tone than that pure white that he's got around his face. So I'm going to use titanium white instead. And then I'm going to use the carbon black that I have, and I'm actually running a little bit low on carbon black, so I'm going to have to extend that. And I'm going to be using, well, I'll just turn you guys over here. I'm going to be using my siennas and my umbers to get that nice golden brown color that he has in his fur. And I'm going to be just mixing that with the titanium white to get that color. Other things I'd recommend before you start painting is a retarder. Now, when you use oil paints, which are very beautiful and they go on like butter and they're gorgeous, you don't necessarily need a retarder. Oil paints can take several weeks, even a year, in order to dry, which is one of their benefits. However, they're also very, very expensive. And like I said, it takes a long time for your picture to dry. So I don't use oils. I use purely acrylic paints when I paint. And therefore I need a retarder, especially on a day like today when it's extremely hot outside. Because my paint is going to dry a lot faster on the palette and on the canvas than I want. If I'm blending or if I'm adding highlights or something, I want that paint to be at least a little bit sticky. Not dry, but stickier, not completely moist, so that it doesn't, so that it blends a little bit better. So that's why I'm using a retarder, and I definitely recommend Golden for the retarder. They make an incredibly amazing one. If the bottle doesn't bust, which mine has a couple times. Make sure you close your caps, guys, because then you usually end up with a retarder everywhere if you don't. All right. And then I also recommend a medium. So I'm running low on carbon black. This is my carbon black. This is my only tube right now. I need to go get more. I haven't had a chance. But keeping in mind that I am running low, I'm going to use a medium in order to extend my color. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but that's the word I'm using. Basically, what a medium does, and this is a golden medium, I like to use the glazing liquid as a medium, which is probably wrong, but whatever. It makes it glazy. It's pretty and it's glossy. Anyways, what it does is if you add it to your paint, you get more of your paint. That's the nitty-gritty of it. That's the down, and that's it. Basically, you're going to add some medium to my carbon black, and I'm going to get more carbon black. It's going to be a little bit thinner, so it'll take a few extra layers in order to get it onto the canvas, but it will give me more carbon black. As for brushes, I have a lot of brushes. These are brushes that I have gotten over time. I've gotten the really cheap ones that come in a pack. I've gotten really expensive ones that come single, like that come one and then one and then one. I've gotten them at sales. I've taken them out of children's painting things. You know, I collect brushes basically. And you can have brushes that are, let me get this up here so you can see it better, that are very, very good, like this one, where the bristles are amazing and they don't fall out. It's a little bent, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's a very good brush, but you can never use it. What I mean is, you can get an extremely expensive brush that costs you $5, $5.50, but then you might never use it. So what's the point of spending so much money on that? That's basically what I'm saying. Or you can get, you know, a cheapo brush. That's not a good example. That one cost me a lot of money. Or you can get a cheapo brush and then use it non-stop until it falls to pieces. It's up to you which brush you use. I do things like, to my brush, in order to make this brush thinner, Rasputin has chewed on the other end, in case you didn't notice. In order to make this brush thinner, I actually cut the bristles down. I usually spend a little bit more on my brushes because I don't like it when the bristles come out while I'm painting. It bothers me a great deal. For this painting though, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want a smaller, not that one, a couple smaller brushes, one with a straight edge. you'll figure it out. Basically, you want smaller brushes for this painting because of all the details you're going to have to put in it. And you also want a palette knife. My palette knife is rather old and it's very icky, but it is my palette knife. It is cheap. It is what I'm using. So that's what we're going to go with. In addition to that, this is really smart, something one of my teachers told me to do, that I haven't been using it. This is a little container that they sell at art store supplies, and it has a top. It is tightly sealed, and it's where you can put extra paint. Like after you finish mixing something, if you mix something and you're like, oh, it's the perfect tone for his nose or his eyes or his face or his eyebrows. It's perfect. That's the perfect color. Put it in a container. That way when you come back to your palette, you're not trying to figure out how you mixed the color of his back or the color of his face. You have it already mixed up for you. So that's how we're going to start painting. Another thing you'll want, like if you live in an apartment like I do, you'll probably want to put some newspaper on the floor because paintbrushes have a habit of committing suicide and flying out of your hand and going plop. So I would definitely recommend newspaper on the floor, or I use the paper bags that we always seem to get at the grocery store. I'll break them up and put them on the floor so that the paintbrush will land on something that isn't the nice wooden floor that I have to pay for when I leave here. And okay, so you're going to want that. You're going to need some paper towels, and I just keep mine right here on my desk. And I use those to clean my brush. Artist tape isn't necessarily important for this picture because we're going to be going all the way to the edges. But if you want a border on the picture that you're doing, artist tape is necessary. A cup of water. Okay, don't do what I did. After I finished my last painting, I left my brushes in my cup. There's water in there, and I just left them in there. Don't do that, because that degrades your brushes really, really badly. Once you finish painting, you need to clean your brushes, and you can do this with brush cleaner, or you can do it with dish soap. But you need to clean your brushes. Don't leave them in there, because not only will it cause the bristles to come out eventually, but if you have a brush like this, and you put it in water above the edge of the metal, eventually the head of the brush is going to degrade the glue and the head of the brush is going to come off. It's very easily fixed with super glue, but it does happen and it sucks in the middle of painting when you lose the head of your brush. But you will need a glass of clean water. This is my painting cup that I use solely for painting. And yeah, that's what you're going to need to start this painting. And next time we come back, I'll show you the first steps of getting started on this. This is going to be fun. Promise, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. All right, thanks for watching, guys.